All right, welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer, mostly because, well, we're tackling something that literally affects every single one of us every single day. We are constantly surrounded by messages. I mean, from the exact moment we wake up and check our phones, to the billboards we drive past, to the ads playing in the background of our favorite apps, people are always trying to persuade us. But how are they actually doing it? Are they using cold, hard facts, or are they secretly pulling invisible strings in our psychology? Well, today, we are going to learn how to identify exactly how media tries to persuade us by decoding propaganda. We're going to uncover the cognitive shortcuts that marketers use so you can spot these hidden tactics from a mile away.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our mission briefing for today. First, we'll get you deputized as a media detective. Second, we'll meet the propaganda techniques, our usual suspects. Third, we'll put your detective skills to the test in a simulation. And finally, we'll go over your digital responsibility in today's fast-paced world.
So, Section 1. Become a media detective. Your training starts right now.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever believed in advertisement just because it used really beautiful, inspiring words? Or, I don't know, maybe because your absolute favorite celebrity endorsed it? Look, don't worry, we've literally all been there. It's because human brains absolutely love cognitive shortcuts. We'll buy a product, or click a link, or share a post simply because it makes us feel a certain way, or because someone we already admire told us it was a good idea. You see, it takes a ton of mental energy to process complex information, so our minds naturally just look for the easy route. But a media detective doesn't just react to feelings. A media detective pauses, observes, and critically analyzes persuasive messages before blindly believing them. So let's find out exactly what you need to look for.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2. Meet the propaganda techniques, the suspects.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that it gives us a complete roadmap to the three primary methods of media manipulation. Consider this your official cheat sheet. Our three main suspects are name-calling, glittering generalities, and transfer. And notice how distinctly different their motives actually are. One aims to attack and destroy. Another manufactures this warm, fuzzy feeling just to distract you. And the third, well, it's all about hijacking someone else's credibility for their own gain. Let's look at each technique up close to see exactly how they operate and, more importantly, why they work so incredibly well on us. First up in our lineup is name-calling. This is pretty straightforward. It's attacking a person or an idea by using insults, negative labels, or just generally unpleasant words. The primary goal here is pure destruction. Instead of arguing facts or presenting any sort of logical counterpoint, this technique just throws mud. Think about statements you might hear all the time like, "Only fools buy that product," or "That candidate is totally useless," or "Only losers choose that brand." The persuader desperately wants you to reject the person or the idea based entirely on a negative label, not on any actual evidence. And this exploits our deep primal instinct for tribalism. It makes us want to distance ourselves from the outgroup just so we feel safe and correct. So if you ever see someone relying on insults instead of data, your media detective alarm bells should be ringing loudly.
Next up, we have the complete opposite approach, glittering generalities. This technique is all about creating really positive feelings by using attractive, sparkling words, things like hope, freedom, success, and peace. But here is the absolute critical catch. They do this without providing a single shred of actual evidence. It is all sugar, zero substance. They might say things like, choose hope, choose progress, or experience true excellence, or together for lasting peace. I mean, who doesn't want excellence or peace, right? This works specifically because our brains automatically fill in the blanks with our own personal desires, creating this halo effect around the message. We basically project our own values right onto their buzzwords. But a good detective always pauses and asks, wait, how exactly are you going to achieve that? This technique relies entirely on short-circuiting your critical thinking with positive emotions.
And our third suspect is transfer. This is the act of borrowing trust or respect by using celebrities, heroes, national symbols, professionals, or just respected organizations. And this brilliantly illustrates another psychological shortcut we take. If we trust a famous athlete, and that exact athlete is holding up a bottle of milk on a billboard, the advertiser is really hoping we'll transfer our trust from the athlete directly to the milk. Or maybe it's an ad saying, "A doctor recommends this toothpaste." They are literally borrowing the inherent respect we have for medical professionals just to sell you a product. They aren't proving the toothpaste itself is actually better, they're just standing next to someone you already trust. Kind of makes you wonder just how many of our choices are based on the product itself versus the person standing next to it, doesn't it?
All right, detectives. You've studied the briefing, you know our three suspects: name-calling, glittering generalities, and transfer. Now it is time for Section 3, Test Your Detective Skills. Welcome to the simulation. We are going to run a really quick rapid-fire gallery walk. I'm going to give you a persuasive message, and I want you to classify it using the techniques we just learned about. Get ready.
Okay, here's your first piece of evidence. The quote simply says, "Only lazy students fail." Look really closely at the wording here. Think about the underlying purpose of this message. Is it creating positive feelings? Is it borrowing trust? Or is it doing something else entirely? Take a second and lock in your guess.
If you guessed name-calling, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. The word lazy is the dead giveaway here. It's a highly negative label being used to attack and demean a group of people, rather than providing any sort of factual context or reasoning. It plays right into that tribal instinct we uncovered earlier. Excellent job, let's keep going.
Here is piece of evidence number 2. The message reads, "Together toward a brighter tomorrow." Take a second. Look for the clues. What is this message trying to make you feel, and honestly, more importantly, what is it not telling you? What technique do you think this is?
Boom, glittering generalities. Words like brighter tomorrow and together are highly positive, attractive, emotional words. They make you feel optimistic. But notice what is completely missing? There is absolutely zero evidence or any specific plan provided. It relies 100% on the emotional sparkle of the words to build that halo effect.
Okay, round 3. Here's your next clue. A famous basketball player recommends this energy drink. Look at the elements in play right here. We have a product, and we have a highly specific type of person attached to it. Which of our 3 suspects is at work here? That is a textbook example of transfer. The energy drink brand is actively trying to borrow the trust, admiration, and respect that the public already has for this famous basketball player. The message isn't actually about the ingredients in the drink at all. It's about making you transfer your positive feelings about the athlete onto their beverage. You guys are totally getting the hang of this. Let's do just one more.
All right, here is your final, slightly trickier clue. The hero's choice. It's short, it's punchy, but what is it really doing? I want you to think deeply about the word hero and what that specifically represents to an audience. Make your final guess.
So, did you get tricked into thinking it was a glittering generality? Actually, the correct answer is transfer, and here's why. By using the concept of a hero, the message is trying to borrow the immense respect and trust we have for heroic figures and attach it directly to whatever product or idea they're selling. They want you to subconsciously think, well, if a respected hero chooses this, I should too. It's a fantastic, really subtle use of the transfer technique.
You all did incredibly well in that simulation, which brings us to our final section, Section 4, your digital responsibility, the detective's code. Why does learning these 3 techniques actually matter out there in the real world?
Well, the crucial point is this. Knowing exactly how you are being manipulated is the very first step to becoming a responsible digital citizen. I want you to think of this as your personal detective's code. First, always verify information before sharing it. Don't just let a catchy slogan do your thinking for you. Second, remember that prestige does not equal proof. Just because a celebrity or a professional holds a product, it doesn't instantly make it magic. Third, actively hunt for facts hidden beneath emotional language. Strip away the sparkling adjectives and just ask, okay, but where's the evidence? And finally, by doing all of this, you actively stop yourself from spreading misleading advertisements. You literally become the firewall that breaks the chain of propaganda.
So here is my final challenge to you as fully trained media detectives. Open up your Media Detective Journal, which, hey, can literally just be the Notes app on your phone, and look at your own social media feed, or the television, or even a magazine today. Can you find 5 persuasive messages? Because I guarantee you they are out there. And when you find them, ask yourself, is this name-calling? Is it a glittering generality, or is it transfer? The moment you start seeing the matrix of how media actually tries to persuade you, you take back your power to make your own informed decisions. Which leaves us with one final super important question to ponder. If a message makes you feel an emotion before it even makes you think a thought, who is really in control of your choices? Stay curious, stay critical, and I will see you on the next explainer.